What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Gen V, the new Amazon Prime Video spin-off series to The Boys, one of the most successful shows on Prime for sure. Of course, The Boys, a black comedy superhero series famous for, I think, lampooning the genre, being incredibly self-aware and I think, reactive to our current society. And Gen V, I think, much to everyone's pleasure, is effectively more of The Boys, just with a really kind of perfect high concept angle to it, where this is Soup's college. Superhero kids going to school. In this case, they're going to Godolphin University, or God U for short. Simply put, the Soups are going to school to fucking kill each other. Sounds just like The Boys. It's a perfect fit, perfect idea for a spin-off. Of course, The Boys is already a franchise that has had a few spin-offs thus far. They had the animated series Diabolical. There's now other comic books out. And yeah, while we're waiting for The Boys season 4, we believe that's coming next year. Of course, The Boys season 3 came out last year. I think Gen V, it doesn't feel like franchise pilfering to me. This actually feels like a really smart use of this franchise and this world, because I think the tone of the storytelling in The Boys is really just quite precise. Maybe this will not feel the case one day, but to me it still feels incredibly fresh. It is fun. All The Boys trademarks are here with Gen V. Notably, it's incredibly gory, incredibly sexual. It is dark. It's also very funny. But more than anything, I think the self-awareness that this story and this world brings about itself, and how we can put that on to how we see things in our real world, that's what makes, I think, The Boys just, I think, really rewarding to continue to be with in the world of superhero fatigue and superhero everything. So I thought Gen V, at the premiere, first 3 episodes out on Prime Video, 1 episode a week from here on out, that was really effective at hooking you. That first episode in particular was really special. I thought, our lead character we meet is Marie, played by Jess Sinclair, and I think it's a really effective, kind of opening set piece where we learn something that's kind of been teased with like X-Men storytelling in the past, where someone develops their superpowers unknowingly, just kind of randomly as it would happen, and tragedy ensues because the new superpowered person can't control their powers. We learn that Marie inadvertently developed her ability to control blood, bloodbend, like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Basically, she can control blood after hitting puberty, basically, and inadvertently, almost instantly, killing both of her parents with this uncontrolled power. And really effective twist, as thus Marie is an orphan, but she's able to get into God U on a full ride and have a chance to kind of bust out. She's estranged from her sister following the death of their parents, so I'm sure that'll come up later in the season. We know that they are estranged at this time. But yeah, Marie then meets a bunch of other characters, both some that are her year, some that are a few years older at God U, and those include Andre, played by Chance Perdomo, who is a metal bender, but also the son of a famous superhero. We see his dad in the premiere as well. Marie's roommate is Emma, aka Little Cricket, someone who she's able to shrink down, very small. But we learn in the premiere that the way she does this is by purging herself, and then of course the way she gets back to full size is by eating. Obviously, that is kind of portrayed, perhaps obviously, about eating disorders. I don't know if that's the most richly developed, metaphor for our society. I think obviously all the reference points in The Boys world and Gen V, everything works to varying degrees. But I think the fact that you can recognize what it's talking about is not the only thing the series is pointing out. Probably, I think, lends some credence to the fact that it's okay if some things are just kind of obvious metaphors and that's all there are. Like, I don't know if there's any extra depth to be found here. I think what was probably more compelling thus far with Gen V was how this school at God U is set up, where all the students are ranked by like the board and by Vault and whatnot. They're ranked based on their abilities, but also their marketability, their virality, their social media scores, their Q ratings, things of that nature. And thus, all the new kids coming to God U, all these new soups, are incredibly conscious of their brand awareness and their brand building and the desire for followers and views. And it's, again, obvious and perhaps heavy-handed, but also pretty compelling portrayal of the social media world we live in, where engagement is everything. And, Emma certainly is the brunt of this in a negative way in the premiere for sure. And Marie, someone who didn't grow up with much, came to God U without a phone. She has to learn how to play the game when she quickly becomes a star pupil after saving someone out in public. And then, of course, following a major confrontation at the end of the first episode. That major confrontation, of course, is with Golden Boy, the number one ranked student at God U, played by Patrick Schwarzenegger. And Golden Boy basically goes on a bit of a rampage, killing their professor, played by Clancy Brown, and then killing himself at the end. Like, I think the literally explosive end to the first episode really, I think, nails home why this is an effective pilot and why it feels like right at home in the boys' world. Because, of course, we learn, approaching episode 1, approaching episode 2, that Golden Boy had basically discovered a larger conspiracy happening at God U with Vought involvement, kind of dubbed the Woods, this kind of like secret lab / prison for superheroes. And Golden Boy's brother, Sam, is trapped down there. He had previously been told he had been killed. So Golden Boy is trying to get to the bottom of things, and thus this wider conspiracy and the desire to fix things is thus laid upon Marie and the rest of their crew, which includes Andre, includes Emma, also includes Kate, which was Golden Boy's girlfriend, and she is like a mind empath. She can touch someone and get them to do whatever she wants. We also get introduced to someone else in the squad, which is Jordan, which I think is also I think this one's probably more compelling than the Emma front, but it's, again, kind of an obvious metaphor. Jordan is a gender shifter. I think they use the phrase bi-gender in this one, where Jordan can switch between looking feminine and looking male, and thus is played by two different actors as a result. Again, pretty obvious nod to non-binary people and things of that nature. But I was pretty compelled because I think both performances are done pretty well, and the desire to be oneself and the pressures other people put on you in terms of how you present yourself. So that was all pretty compelling, and again, fitting in the larger story that Gen V was telling us through this premiere. I think just thematically and then plot-wise, in terms of this uncovering this greater conspiracy, I'm definitely in. I think there's a lot of meat on this bone, and again, I think it's just kind of hats off to the world building of the boys' world, that everything just feels so rich and feels right at home. Like, again, I love the tone, I love the humor. Episode 1 has an absolutely hilarious and amazing sex scene between Emma and someone else she meets at school. That's a high bar to clear, given The Boys Season 3 gave us Herogasm after all. But I think this is definitely up there, right at home with The Boys. Really, really funny, really loved it. It's also pretty creative, I have to say. We get some cameos from other people from the main Boys series, such as The Deep, such as a few others. We know Soldier Boy, Jensen Ackles' character, is supposed to be on the show at some point. We'll see how big of a role that is. I love the laugh. It's just a straight up gag in the show, but the RA for Marie and Emma's floor is clearly invisible, and he basically introduces them that, hey, there's a consent seminar coming up, and while he's saying that, someone else calls out that he just has his dick out because he's completely naked because he's invisible. And yeah, that's just played for laughs, but again, it kind of speaks to the tone that Boys wants to, and Gen V wants to carry itself with. I think I just have a lot of time for all the brand management stuff. It's also funny, obviously Marie and everyone else who's thought of highly by Vought and by the university consistently surrounded by handlers and people giving them scripts and messaging and things of that nature. And again, familiar stuff from how Stargirl went through her time with the Seven, obviously, but it's all pretty effective. I'm hoping the college stuff remains. I would love to see like the equivalent of a Gen V frat party at God U. I'd love to see that because I think college stuff is just a natural setting for fun humor, and having college kids be super powered just kind of adds to the possibilities, in my opinion. So as much as I'm definitely invested in the greater conspiracy that our core cast will be seeking to uncover and expose and free Golden Boy's brother, etc., I do hope that Gen V still keeps keeps it grounded on God U campus, and we get some fun hijinks there. So that's what I'm hoping to see. We'll see how the last 5 episodes go. But let me know, how did you feel about Gen V? Do you feel like it's a really effective and compelling spin-off to The Boys the way I do? What was your favorite part about the premiere? And for more TV reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.